What if the secret to a happier, more loving life in your older age has less to do with fighting wrinkles or staying active, but with steering clear of the stealthy habits nobody tells you to watch out for? As we age, we all pick up small quirks, some harmless, some not so. But the thing is, certain habits have the insidious consequence of making loved ones become strangers and life more lonely and difficult than it needs to be. The upside? You can change them the moment you become aware of them. So let's shine the light on these hidden pitfalls and how to sidestep them, because number 5 might just surprise you. Before we get started, if you're ready for tips that can potentially transform your relationships and your days, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support enables this life-changing advice. Meet Tom, a 68-year-old retired mechanic with a heart of gold. He used to be the guy everyone called for a joke, a fix, or a chat. His garage was a rec center, kids on bicycles, buddies with coffees, stories galore. But Tom's universe has shrunk in recent times. His phone is silent, his driveway empty, and he's wondering why. It wasn't a single dramatic event. It was a slow decline. Bad habits crept in, ones that he wasn't even aware of, that pushed away the people he loved the most. Let's dissect these habits, because Tom's story isn't unique, and the good news is, it's not too late to change. Number 1. Moving out of the spotlight. Lydia, a 67-year-old retired schoolteacher, used to demand attention. Her classroom hummed with her energy, and friends relied on her vibrant spirit. But as years accumulated, she faded. At her niece's wedding, she lingered at the fringes, sipping punch, staying off the dance floor. "They don't need me out there," she said to herself as she watched younger guests spin. Her family noticed. Her brother said, "Lydia's not herself anymore." She hadn't intended to withdraw. It was just easier to let others be center stage. The calls became fewer, and her house grew silent. She'd sit with her tea and ask herself why nobody called, unaware of how her withdrawal had built an invisible wall. Stepping back into the shadows may seem unselfish. You're making room for others, but it's a slow slip into invisibility. You think you're moving back graciously, but you're taking yourself out of life. The people closest to you miss your light and they drift without you, not knowing how to reach you. It doesn't have to be about hogging the limelight. It's about staying in the frame. How do you reclaim your space? Start small. Lydia attended a toast, voice shaking but friendly. People turned, smiled, offer something. She brought cookies to a neighbor and they chatted for a while. Be visible. At the next gathering, she danced a single song. Her niece applauded. She realized withdrawing wasn't modesty, it was giving up. Gradually, she moved back in. Her phone hummed once more. Her days grew richer. The payoff is big. You are a vital part of the story instead of a forgotten footnote. People want you with them, not without them. Connection happens when you participate. Lydia's brother grinned and said, "There's our star. It's not age that reduces your influence, it's withdrawal." Where do you pull back? Join the conversation in the comments. Let's draw you back in. Number 2. Daily dose of bitterness. George, 73, and retired from his job as a mailman, wore his resentment as a badge. His old neighbor, Pete, had complained about his overgrown lawn one time, and George never dropped it. "He's a busybody," he'd spit, regaling it over coffee with his daughter. She'd nod, tired of the tale, as his resentment smoldered. Every glance at Pete's house rekindled it. At holiday gatherings, he'd veer into rants about backstabbers, and guests shifted uncomfortably. George thought he was venting, but he was poisoning his peace. His daughter finally said, "Dad, you're hurting yourself more." He hadn't seen how his daily dose of resentment pushed her away, leaving him stewing alone. Feeding bitterness every day is like holding position, but it's a trap. It spreads, poisoning your mood, your discussions, your health. Stress builds, sleep suffers. You become a one-syllable mantra no one wants to hear, and the person you're mad at, they're fine, you're the hostage. How to starve it out? Name the hurt. George muttered. Pete snitched, then let it sit. It lost some sting. Refocus, he told himself. I've got a good yard now, shifting the lens. Release it. He waved at Pete one day. Not friends, just free. His daughter noticed. He laughed more, ranted less. Bitterness shrank, and his table filled again. Profit is liberty, lighter moments, frank conversation, no chains. George had slept sound through the night, unfettered. Bitterness does not prevail unless you feed it. Starve it and fly high. What vendetta do you harbor? Tell us below. Let us let it go together. Number 3. Locking into routine. Mabel, a 71-year-old librarian, ran her life like clockwork. Breakfast at 8, books at 9, news at 6. Every day ticked the same. When her son suggested a random lunch out, she bristled. "I've got my plan." He stopped pushing and her doorbell grew dusty. Mabel loved her rhythm. It felt safe after years of chaos raising kids, but her world tightened. Friends faded, her son called less. She'd sit beside her tea, stunned at the silence, unable to conceive how her fixed script had closed her in, turned comfort into confinement. Locking into habit is a bit like security, but a straitjacket. It kills off spontaneity, numbs your edge, and tells others that you're off the market. Life needs oxygen. Too much order strangles it, and you let the sloppy beautiful now slip by. How to loosen the cogs? Flex once. Mabel ate out. The burger beat her sandwich. Invite change. She asked her son. Pick a day. I'm free. Swap habits. She skipped news for a walk. Birds sang. Her mood lifted. Her son grinned at lunch. Mom's adventurous routine softened and her days breathed. Friends stopped by. Life churned. The payoff is aliveness. Flexibility makes you young, plugged in, open. Mabel felt alive, not mechanical. Order works. It needn't control. What's your lock? Comment below. Let's crack it open. Number 4. Collecting dust on dreams. Victor, a 69-year-old carpenter, had a shelf of regrets. He'd always wanted to build a boat, go to Paris, learn the guitar. But life got busy, and he placed them on the shelf. Too late now, he'd sigh, flipping through woodworking magazines he never worked on. His wife noticed the slump. He's just here, not living. At family dinners, he'd zone out, stuck in what-ifs while his children spoke. Victor had not meant to stagnate. Those dreams just gathered dust, weighing him down, causing his fire to lose its luster. He had not noticed how his stalled dreams made him a shadow. Dust collecting on dreams is not nostalgia, it's surrender. It tugs at your soul, distorts your now, and signals you've surrendered. Others can feel it drifting away from your gray. Dreams do not die unless you let them. How to dust them off? Pick one. Victor grabbed his guitar. Chords were rusty, but thrilling. Start tiny. He practiced 10 minutes. Progress sparked joy. Share it, he told his wife. I'm trying this, and she cheered. He strummed at a barbecue. Kids clapped, he beamed. Dreams woke him up. His shelf lightened. His days glowed. The win is purpose. You're not finished, you're starting. Victor's wife said, he's back, dreams fuel, regrets drain. Chase one, drop the other. What dreams dusty for you? Tell us below, let's polish. Number 5. Lashing out in anger. Nina, 70 and a nurse, had a quick temper. In the pharmacy, a slow-moving line drew aloud. This is ridiculous. Her grandson cringed when she snapped, pick up your toys? Now Nina blamed it on stress. Retirement wasn't the breeze she'd dreamed of. But her rants put up a wall. Her daughter called less frequently. Friends shunned her. She'd sit alone, fuming at the world. Unaware of how her rage bounced back and pushed her further away, she missed the silent conversations she used to enjoy. Lashing out is a feeling of release, but it's a boomerang. It increases your tension, isolates your group, and labels you as harsh. Patience wears thin with age if you do not guard it. How to reel it in? Hold back. Nina caught her breath. It dulled the edge. Reframe. Their learning moderated her view. Mend quickly. I didn't mean to yell, eased her grandson's smile. She cooled down and her daughter lingered longer. Peace reigned. Frustration shrunk, connection grew. She was no longer the storm. The gift is peaceful. Fewer regrets, more closeness. Nina felt centered, not frustrated. Patience draws people to you. Where do you lash out? Reply below. Let's de-escalate. Number 6. Not using modern tools. Carl, a 72-year-old mechanic, swore off technology. His kids texted him about a reunion. He missed it, clinging to his flip phone. I don't need that junk. Video calls with the grandkids. Too tricky, he'd grunt, ignoring their pleas. Carl took pride in his old ways, but the distance mounted. His daughter no longer filled him in, assuming he'd scoff. He'd sit in his garage, working alone, and wonder why his family felt so distant. He was not aware of how eschewing tools limited his universe, rendering him outside their loop, a relic to them. Eschewing modern tools feels like freedom, but is a wall. Tech is not gizmos, it's connection. And eschewing it disconnects you from the rhythm of the day. You needn't learn at all. Just enough to stay connected. How do you close it? Start small. Carl got a basic smartphone. Texting hi was a triumph. Lean on help. His grandson set him up with video calling. Faces filled his screen. Make it your own. He skipped apps, kept calls, enough to be included. His daughter beamed. Dad's on board. Tech opened doors. He saw his grandkids' games, felt close again. The reward is belonging. You're in the circle, not outside it. Carl's loneliness faded. Tools aren't foes, they're keys. What tool do you shun? Tell us below. Let's unlock it. Number 7. Clinging to authority rose. A 68-year-old ex-manager ruled her roost. Her son planned a holiday. She overrode him. My house, my menu. Her daughter-in-law vented about work. Rose cut in. Do it my way. She thought she was guiding, but her grip grated. Her son snapped. I'm not your employee. Visits thinned. Rose sat alone, baffled. She didn't see how clinging to control turned love into duty, pushing her family to the edges of her life. Clinging to power is a mark of strength, but it's a wedge. It crushes independence, causes tension, and makes you a boss, not a bond. Age commands respect. Don't demand it. How to release. Suggest, not command, Rose said. Turkey's nice. What's your choice? Listen first. She let her daughter-in-law complete. Empathy increased. Trust them. Her son entertained and she unwound. Food was excellent. Visits thought out. She was a guest, not a commander. Control dissipated. Intimacy flowered. The payoff is simplicity, mutual respect, real connection. Rose was respected, not vetoed. Power binds. Freedom releases. Where do you hold on? Share in the comments. Let's release it. Number 8. Letting joy get away. Phil, age 74 and a farmer, once lived for enjoyment. Barn dances, fishing trips, bad puns. Now he trudged through days, TV, chores, bed. That's for young folks, he'd complain. His brother took him to a card game. Phil grumbled, then laughed, a flush one, and he glowed. He'd never seen happiness slip away from him, and he was left with nothing. A shell of the man who danced his wife around the room. Loss of joy is not maturity, degradation. Enjoyment isn't a choice. It's air, and when you don't have it, you wither. Others catch the absence, drifting away from your shadow. On how to recover it? Grasp a spark. Phil caught again. Quietness charged him. Map it. Weekly postcards became his beat. Friends came together. Chase laughs. A comedy night cracked his shell. His brother said, "You're alive again." Joy returned. He danced in his kitchen. Life pulsed. The perk is youth. Lightness, connection. Days shine. Phil's grin drew people. Joy's not gone. It's waiting. What joy slipped? Tell us below. Let's revive it. Number 9. Evading hard facts. Ellen, a 69-year-old clerk, had mastered the art of dodging hard conversations. Her friend borrowed $200 for an emergency 6 months ago, then vanished. No calls, no text. Ellen forced a smile, muttering, "No big deal," to anyone who asked. But inside, she simmered with betrayal. Her son, meanwhile, hounded her about her 2-pack-a-day smoking habit. "I'm fine," she'd snap, waving him off, though her cough rattled louder each morning. Silence, she reminded herself, kept the peace intact. But the cracks widened. Her friends stayed away, her son's visits lessened. Ellen sat alone with her coffee, resentment brewing like a tempest she couldn't name. Anger seethed, and she couldn't see how avoiding truths was draining her life. Dodging hard realities is like armor, a comfortable pulling back from the battle. It's a creep of decay. Unspoken realities stack up like unpaid bills. Trust seeps away, bonds deform, and you end up nursing a disaster you didn't meet. Ellen's smile covered a wound. Her shrug uncovered an appeal. The more she dodged, the taller the suitcase stack. Facing it, though, the healing starts there, so how do you step up? Start gently but firmly. Ellen finally called her friend. "We need to talk about that loan. No yelling, just straight up." Her friend squirmed in her seat, apologized, promised to pay half soon. It wasn't perfect, but the air was cleared. Truth restored a thread to their relationship. Then Ellen listened when her son pushed again. "I don't think you'll get to see your grandkids grow up," he said. His words sank in past her defenses. She nodded. "I'll try cutting back." They made a plan. A quit date, nicotine patches his support. Tension eased with each step. Her son showed up more. Her friend sent $100 with a note. Truths aired, and her circle tightened. She wasn't alone anymore. The victory is in being transparent. Greater connections are made when you let go of unspoken words' weight. Ellen's coffee was sweeter today. Her chest felt lighter. Truth deconstructs, silence constructs. She still had things to accomplish, but cracks began to mend. What truth are you refusing to speak? It might be a debt and addiction that is killing you, or anger that you will not speak. Post below. Let's get honest together. The hardest part's the first one, but it's the most important. Number 10. Forgetting about your shell. Sam, an age 71 painter, had gone decades without keeping up the maintenance. His teeth yellowed and ached. He hadn't visited the dentist in his 60s. His hair stood matted and feral on end. No comb, no barber. Who's looking? He'd kids slapping away at the mirror glare. But his daughter winced from his bitter kiss on visit, stepping backward halfway through. Old friends at the coffee shop pushed their chairs a little back, their smiles fleeting. Sam didn't catch the shift, or wouldn't. He'd stumble through his days, slumping shoulders, confidence wearing away like paint from a forgotten canvas. He didn't see how neglect dimmed his light, nudging people to the edges of his orbit. Neglecting your shell isn't freedom, it's retreat. It's not about vanity or chasing youth, it's about self-worth. Letting the basics crumble doesn't just dull your edges, it signals you've checked out. Others notice, even if they're too polite to say it. Sam thought himself above caring, but the disintegration of his relationships testified. His daughter's rapid exits, his friends' distance, they were not accidents. Flight from care does not set you free, it isolates, so how do you shine bright? Start small, create a foundation. Sam made a morning shower a ritual. Hot water roused his limbs, steam cleared his fogginess. Fix one thing at a time. He booked a dentist, endured the drill, and emerged with a brighter smile. He caught himself smiling at the shop window. Pride sparkled again. Share it outward. He swapped grimy sweatpants for clean jeans and an iron shirt. His step quickened, his shoulders back. His daughter picked up on it first, hugged him tight. "You look good, Dad. Really good." Friends lingered over coffee longer, their warmth restored. Care wasn't drudgery anymore. It sharpened him, made him alive, not cheap. The kick his dignity energy flows, people gasped. Sam stood taller, his laugh deeper, his aura magnetic again. Your shell is a mirror of your soul. Tend it, and the world tilts in. He still painted alone some days, but isolation was by choice, not by compulsion. What's being neglected in your life? A haircut way overdue, a checkup skipped, a closet full of worn-out threads? Tell us below. Let's shine it up together. Step 1 brings back the sparkle. The rest is coming next. Number 11. Smothering adult kids. Vera, a 70-year-old widow, couldn't let go. Her 38-year-old daughter Lisa was job hunting after a layoff. Vera texted daily, "Use my resume tips, bullet points, not paragraphs." Her 35-year-old son, Mark, tried a new chili recipe. She hovered over the stove, "Needs more salt. Trust me." "I'm helping," she told herself, convinced her decades of wisdom were a gift. But her kids stiffened. Lisa's reply shrank to "Thanks, Mom," and Mark muttered, "I've got it." Back off they'd snap when pressed. Phone calls grew curt, visits rarer. Vera sat alone in her tidy living room, hurt pooling in her chest, missing the chatter. She didn't see how smothering twisted her love into pressure, pushing them out the door. Smothering adult kids feels like care, but it's a leash. It's not an issue of the profundity of your love. It's an issue of control creeping in. Telling them how to live drains their strength, undermines trust, and leaves you fretting over every move. Vera thought she was steadying them, but she was suffocating them. Lisa stopped forwarding job leads. Mark cooked at his apartment instead. The more tightly she grasped, the bigger the gap grew. Letting go doesn't imply abandoning. It implies trusting them to lead while you step back. So how do you step back? Start by asking, not assuming. Vera gave it a shot. Need advice on that resume? Lisa paused, then sent a draft. Her choice. Wait instead of wading in. When Mark was stirring his pot, Vera held her tongue. He beamed later. Taste us. Proud of his own fix. Cheer, don't steer. She swapped "Do it this way" for "You've got this." It landed softer, warmer. Lisa called one night, excited about an interview. Mark invited her for dinner. Visits lingered longer. She was a fan now, not a fixer. Love flowed freer, unforced. Balance is the present. Pride in their wins, space for their losses, a connection that breathes. Vera's shoulders eased, smothering smothers, support soaring. She still worried from time to time, but she reveled in their news instead of dictating it. Where do you hover too close? A child's career, their kitchen, their choices. Share in the comments. Let's lighten up together. Loosening the reins feels risky, but it's how true connection grows. Number 12. Ignoring bodies, whispers Hank. A 73-year-old welder with calloused hands and a stubborn streak brushed off his body's hints. His knees throbbed after years of crouching over steel. Just old age, he'd grunt, popping aspirin like candy. His vision blurred, street signs fading into smudges. I'll manage, he told himself, squinting harder. One rainy night, he misjudged a curb, stumbled and crashed. His wrist snapped, pain shooting up his arm. The ear doctor sighed. Arthritis in your knees, cataracts in your eyes, untreated. Could have fixed this months ago. Hank was proud of toughness and believed he could tough out pain. But silence at those whispers came at a price. Mobility declined. He had to rely on his son to walk upstairs, frustration gnawing at his pride. Ignoring your body's whispers isn't strength. It's perilous denial. Those subtle cues, aches, flickers, tiredness, are not whines. They're warnings of greater tumbles. Hank saw them as badges of strength, but paying no mind to them didn't prove strength. It robbed him of freedom. His wrist healed gradually, his knees buckled more, and the world grew smaller to what he could do on his own. Listening isn't weakness. It's gaining mastery before the whispers become screams. So how do you tune in? Act on the clear thing in a rush. Hank finally wore glasses. Streetlights grew sharp, colors bloomed. World came back into focus. Check what grates. He went to a specialist, got a brace for his knee. His step stabilized, no more flinch with each step. Take care of the little thing every day. He started stretching, tentative bends at first, then longer ambles. Stiffness eased up, his balance returned. One day he went walking across the yard by himself, toolbox in his hand, not limping, not leaning. Health is not defeat. It's the iron in your back that keeps you from bending. The victory is strength, freedom regained, fear muted. Life is still yours to shape. Hank riveted again, small task, but his hands were steady, his eyes unclouded. He took another step, grinning. Whispers don't suffocate when you hear them. They guide. His son clapped his shoulder. Good to see you moving, Dad. What whisper do you hear? A twinge in your back, a blur in your eyes, a gasp for breath. Post here together. Catching it early lets you be in the driver's seat, not on the sideline. Lydia, George, Mabel, and the rest face these uglies. Fading bitterness, stiffness, and turn them around. You can too. Aging isn't fading, it's time to decide. Which spoke to you? What's your next move? Be honest in the comments. I'm ready. Share this if it inspired you. Pass it on to someone who could benefit from it. Here's to bold, radiant years to come.